See, the people listening right now go, if we were to like come in with something really heavy about your love life or mine, you know, we retain listeners. It's like a cheap way of retaining listeners, and it's probably something we've done in the past.
Yeah.
So it's always tempting, isn't it?
It is always tempting.
Because we construct the run sheets, you know, in a way that we can provide value, retain listeners, and get people to come back.
And grow the audience too.
So if you're listening right now, ladies and gentlemen, we could get into some real deep, juicy stuff.
Or the juiciest bits that anyone's willing to admit.
But we'll have that later in the episode today. So we need you to stick around. We've got a little bit to get through first. But ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Episode 113 of the 9 to 5 Fitness Podcast. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm joined by Anabolic Gab. Gab, how are you? How did you sleep?
Mate, bloody fantastic. Slept quite well. A few sleepovers lately, which we might get to.
Yeah, nice.
But honestly, been sleeping really well. Whoop's been happy with me. Feeling really good. Feeling really happy, really positive, even though the weather isn't amazing. But mate, how are you and how did you sleep?
I'm pretty well. I feel a little bit congested, a little bit crook. It's kind of just happened as I got into the studio, but going pretty well. I've had a week or the last 5 days of like pretty average below par sleep. I've been in Perth, so lapping up a bit of the sun there, but you know, a couple of drinks here and there.
The Wild West.
The Wild West.
Yep.
But it's nice. I think I'm going to need at least 3 trips away just to a sunny place this summer.
Well, would you consider South Korea one of those?
Yeah, I would.
It's going to be 28 degrees around about there. It's their summer, which isn't overly hot, but it'll just be like a nice little sunny trip.
That'd be lovely. No, I'm really looking forward to that. I think the sun is essential, don't you? Like 5 days in the sun in WA, exactly what I needed.
I 100% agree with you, and I've just made sure I'm tracking every single micronutrient now, and I'm making sure the vitamin D, which is D3, which is the most, I think it's like the most bioavailable to you. I'm making sure I'm getting enough of that. Plus, whenever sun's out, I try to like take all my clothes off and just absorb it.
And lie in it.
But 100%, yeah, the sun is so important. The amount that you get from like, I think 10 minutes of sun exposure with like 15% of your skin showing just like absolutely smashes any sort of vitamin D3 you can actually ingest through like a tablet or something rather. So it is very important for mood, hormone regulation, all that.
Yeah, so you're not actually doing it to like tan. You're doing it so you can feel good.
I mean, that too.
Yeah, it's helpful. We don't condone tanning though.
No, we don't. But it does make you look a little bit aesthetic.
I go so like pasty and white in winter, which you try to embrace, and you know that's my skin color and that's fine. But geez, I look a lot better with a tan. Yeah.
So mate, tell me how Perth was, because I've never been. I've heard good things about it. Does it like live up to the hype? Is it worth going to?
It does. Oh, well, for me, it does. So I was born there, and both sides of my family live there. One half's like actually from there. So going is like, it's a very family thing for me. So there's always something to do for me. I can understand how just like the normal person who goes over there without any connections would get bored.
Yeah.
My idea of Perth is probably a little bit skewed as well. Part of my family's from like the Golden Triangle, for the
wealthy area.
Well, luckily, and it was when we lived there, it wasn't what it is today.
Silver Spoon Phillips.
Yeah, Nepo baby Phillips. So very lucky, and very fortunate enough that's kind of my understanding of Perth. I'm very aware that is not everyone's kind of situation in Perth, but the sun is beautiful. I was in Cottesloe, which is right by the beach, and just mate, like I don't know, I just love it. So.
Is it hot all year round there?
No, it's not. And it did get chilly at times while I was there, but it's more just the sun, it's blue skies, and yes, it does rain, but it is very nice. I did a meet and greet.
Yeah, mate, that was amazing.
Yeah, I mean, and it wasn't really a meet and greet. I was saying, look, I'm going for a run. If you guys want to come, then get on down.
It's just a sure way to, if no one rocks up, then you don't care.
It's literally backing yourself. And I tell you what, mate, I was that nervous. So I said, look, meet it at this point at, I think it was like 9 a.m. or 10 a.m. And, I'll come over and then we'll do 5Ks and then we'll grab a coffee and sit down and have a chat if anyone wants to. I genuinely thought maybe 1 or 2 people would come because I gave it like 12 hours notice.
Yep.
Sure enough, mate, there's about 20 people there at the start.
That's insane.
And I'd say about 18 came on a run. So it was fantastic and like some really bubbly, happy people.
Yeah.
Which is always nice.
Did you do one the day after too, or was it just the one day?
No, I just did the one like group run, and then I did a 10K as well, just on my own. But running along there is absolutely beautiful. And
was it? Were there any heroes on the run? Trying to beat you, or?
Nah, not at all. I think everyone was kind of dulled. We went pretty slow, like 5:20 pace.
Yeah.
But mate, I was shook, and we need to do more of that stuff.
Yeah, 100%. Well, you got one coming. Well, obviously, when this episode's out, it already would have happened. But this Sunday is another big one. Are you expecting a large turnout for that? Or
I'd hope it's a little bit of a bigger turnout. But the issue is Melbourne's weather.
Yeah,
I think it's going to be raining.
Well, I'll be there helping you out as well, holding the cameras, handing out t-shirts.
Two's a party.
Yeah, running around trying to beat everyone.
Yeah.
So.
Elbows out, I said.
Yep.
I think we'll just do one lap of the tan and then.
Yeah.
But mate, we as 9 to 5 need to do one.
Yep.
Like where we go to a gym or something.
Definitely.
Or even just, I don't know, what would your like ideal? I guess like meet and greet's pretty cringe, but I guess meet and greet, mate.
Yeah, I found it was good to gate crush a big footy game because there's already going to be heaps of your fans there, and that way you're guaranteed that it looks like a big turnout. I remember last time I did one, like it was insane.
Yeah, that is the fear though, isn't it? Like that no one turns up.
Yeah, I don't know if that's like a rational fear or not, but I think we just need to back ourselves and do it.
People say they're going to turn up, they probably will.
If for an outsider like me, how would you like say Gold Coast is better than Perth or completely different, or which one would you rather live in?
Interesting. Good question. I would much prefer to live in Perth.
Wow.
But it is so far away from anything. Perth's big claim to fame is when the moon landing happened, you could see Perth from the moon because it's the only spot within thousands of kilometres with light to it. Everywhere around WA is either sea,
desolate.
Ocean, or there's no population. So it's so far away from everything that it does make it a little bit difficult. I love the fact Perth is like a little bit more kind of, it's not as tacky.
Yeah, okay.
And then you also get the sun.
Yep.
But I, much the same as Gold Coast, I could see how you'd outgrow Perth very fast.
Yeah. How were the girls in the Perth? We know the girls in the Gold Coast are quite attractive. They're quite upper echelon.
Yeah.
How do they compare to the Perth female occupants?
Yeah, well, I spent most of my time with the family, but
yep.
Very pretty.
Just like looking around though. Heads on a
I
swivel or not?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah.
Much like Gold Coast.
But like if we had to rank Perth, Melbourne, Gold Coast, 1, 2, 3, because lots of people think Melbourne's amazing. I'm like, what are you on about?
In terms of just living?
Just, if you're looking for a female friend.
Counterpart.
Yeah.
It's a good question, mate. All right. Perth number 1.
Okay. I might have to... No, actually I don't. But if I was... Yeah.
What's, you're not single? Hang on.
Yeah, if I was a single man, then I would be going down to Perth.
Are you not single?
It's in that, like, loyal to the talking stage. Like, you wouldn't go messing about now to just be stupid.
Okay.
It's probably heading that way.
Shoot yourself in the foot.
Yeah,
Love
definitely.
It. See, I want to say Perth first, but, like, I mean, I've met a great girl in Melbourne, some great girls. So it's hard to like, I don't want to take that away from them or her.
I think all the girls in all 3 cities are beautiful on the inside and the outside. So I'm going to rank all 3 equal number 1.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Perth's pretty good though.
Yeah, Perth's pretty good. Same as Gold Coast, and Melbourne's pretty shit sometimes, I reckon.
Exactly. So you got a bit of everyone. Anyway, we'll get into some girl chat in a bit because I really want to go into what you just said there. But you've been doing a lot of running lately.
Not even really, but I've done a few runs and they've somehow got good times on them, or like good times for me.
What kind of times are we talking?
I did like a 45-minute or just above a 45-minute 10K, and then like almost a 16-minute 4K, which was pretty like easy. So I'm thinking I saw Mark Zuckerberg run a 19-minute 34 5K. And he's
sub 25K for the Zark.
Yeah, and considerably sub 20 as well, not just 1958. He did 1934. And look, he probably weighs 50 kilos. He's a pasty motherfucker. Like, you'd hope he's good at something. And I think he's good at martial arts too, and he's good at building a $1 billion company.
He's got that covered.
He's got that ticked off. So I thought, maybe I can run a sub 20-minute 5K. So maybe tomorrow or maybe in the next few days, I will attempt to run a sub 20-minute 5K.
Oh, that's huge. So by the time this comes out, you might have already run it.
I may have. I don't want to... I might be doing something else, but who knows? Do you reckon I can do it?
I think you can. I was going to say if Mark Zuckerberg can, then you can, but he's actually quite a prolific runner. Like he's just created Facebook and ran.
Yeah.
And I think he was like quite a good runner in like college.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like...
Remember Shoe Dog? It's all like the nerdy guys that love distance running.
Yeah, running is particularly like a nerdy scene. That's why we're breaking the mold around here, because we're not nerds. But I think you can do it. What's your plan of attack? Do you have one?
Good night's sleep, couple of electrolyte sachets, load up on caffeine and beta-alanine, and then run at 3:55 pace.
And just hold
for
on.
a couple of laps.
Send it and hold on.
What do you reckon?
Mate, that's like literally as good as a strategy as you get. I mean, the thing is, when people talk about strategy, and I always got this while I was trying to run sub 25K, it's as if you already have the fitness. Like they speak about it as if you have a 19-minute 5K in you. Yeah. It's like, no, I can run a sub 25K by 1 second. I'm going to be holding on. I'm going to be redlining from the first kilometer to the last kilometer. And it just comes down to grit and determination. What I would do if I was you, you've got a good Garmin there. Yep. You can go into the app and you can set pace parameters. That's really important. And what you do is like set your pace to be under, like, so the thing starts screaming at you when you go over 3 minutes 58 pace.
Okay.
And that should keep you pretty safe. Yep. The issue is sometimes like in the 3rd and 4th K, you start to become a bit numb to the thing screaming at you. Yeah. And then you slowly pull off. And then in the last K, you're like running a, 3:45 and you're thinking you're fine. But in actual fact, you've shot yourself in the foot. So I would set your parameters even further down to like 3:50, 3:55 pace.
Well, you're definitely going to run a sub 20-minute 5K if you're clearing it by a minute. So
exactly, yeah.
Then there's no stress at all.
Would be nice.
Because I feel like I've done quite a bit of base work lately, like in regards to like longer runs, like at decent pace as well, but not like red line pace. Do you think that is going to be quite helpful to a 5K, or do you think things like running quick 2Ks is better training for that?
I think you need to diversify. Like you need a bit of both, because doing the 10K actually really helps you in that it's the perceived distance, like, because it's such a mental battle. You're like, I can easily run a 10K. So like a 5K is a walk in the park. Now it is a bit quicker and it does take a while, especially around a track. Yep. But like, I think the longer distance stuff really does help you, because it becomes like such a laughable distance for you. It's like if you went out and did a 20K and then 3 days later you did a 5K, that 5K is going to feel like, it's 20 minutes. Like it's over and done. So you find the ability to push a little bit quicker and a little bit harder.
Yeah, I think, that's a good point. So hopefully that volume base will hold me in good set. And I feel like nowadays I can just run, and before I'd start like panicking after 3Ks. But like I went for a run with Mackenzie McIntyre the other day. It was we just went for like a chill run around the town, 2 laps, and we did like, I think it was like 4:47 pace in there, and then we were just like chatting. So it's like, I feel like I can run for a decent amount of time at a decent pace now pretty easily, which I'm happy with. So hopefully that volume base will hold me in good stead for it.
How great of a feeling is that, being able to go for a run and have a chat? You just, I love, like, that is fitness to me.
It's almost like cycling, because cycling's so social, and like when you actually get good at running, it does have that aspect to it. So, and I have been doing like quite a range of cardio stuff. Like obviously the boxing, I don't know how much of a transfer it is there, but I love the boxing classes.
I think it is.
Because like Luke, he's training us like a savage, and like a lot of the time I just want to give up. Like I'm like, fuck, I just want to put my hands down now. I don't want to throw any more punches because I'm literally burning inside. But like when he's actually making you do it, you can't stop. So you are pushing. Well,
you mentioned panic before, which is a really common thing in running, and I actually haven't heard any content on it. But like that panic feeling, I actually get quite like a claustrophobic feeling when I go for runs sometimes. Less so now that I'm a little bit more experienced. But I remember early days I'd get like this panic feeling of like, oh, like I'm going too far, too fast. And like, further into the run, it's going to shoot me. So boxing actually I find helps with that, because you feel quite vulnerable, like, because you have to keep going. There's a coach watching over you and telling you to keep going with it. Even
like the shoulder taps one where we verse each other, that's fun, because even though we're not punching each other in the head, like there's a bit of that vulnerability, because like if you give up and you get tired, you're going to get hit, and we're both pretty competitive, so it's good fun.
How is the boxing going in general? Give us a rundown.
I think I'm pretty similar to you, like addicted, because one, you get an insane cardio workout. Like I feel like I'm fitter than ever. It involves running, skipping, strength and conditioning, and actual like self-defense. 2, I feel a lot more adept if I was to get in like any trouble on the street, just like having the knowledge of like the correct technique to throw a few punches and like combos and whatnot. If you had to protect your loved ones, I feel a lot more confident. 3, I think being a social media presence, you know, there could be exhibition boxing matches in the future. 4, like, want to pay homage to my granddad. I feel like I got a bit of boxing in my blood. I want to get like decent at it and get it down pat. What about you?
Mate, totally agree on all fronts. I have that addiction as well.
Yeah.
And we just got to keep showing up. I think that's the most important part. It's such a hard thing. Everyone's kind of boxed before, which means everyone's a professional. So like we suck at it. Yeah. But the process of learning, I'm actually like really enjoying, and I think we can actually get somewhere with it.
And sucking a bit less each session is really satisfying.
When the punches start hitting and stuff, you know what like really brings you back to like being humbled is after doing a session with Luke, like the coach, who's a jet. He's finding your hand each time with the pads, and then you like if you and I start hitting each other's pads, it's like everything out the window because we don't find the pads as quick. Yeah. I wonder what it would be like for Luke or any professional boxer where it's like they can see the punches coming at them so quickly, and like they can see it and spot it and so on, whereas we can't. Yeah.
It'd just be like that experience.
A lot of reflexes.
I'm excited to get quick. Just, you know, speedy. You watch the professionals like Javonte Davis or something, and the speed at which they move at is just freaking insane.
We have pads at home. We should like do some stuff, some extras, instead of having to like needing to drive down every time.
Definitely. Well, I love it, mate.
Yeah, I'm training for a marathon at the moment.
Yeah, that's right.
As you know.
Yeah.
It's not that fun, to be honest, because I'm at a point in my training.
Yeah.
It's like the enjoyment, it starts to kind of go down, and like the fitness, it's like just maintaining, but it's not getting easier. So it's like the training's getting harder, and my motivation and enjoyment's kind of going down.
Do you think you could run a marathon like tomorrow?
Slowly, yeah.
Do you think you could do it at 5-minute pace?
Oh, yeah, I think so.
What pace are you aiming for this marathon? Oh, for the quick one?
Oh, well, I mean, the quick one's meant to be this weekend and I'm sick, so...
Maybe push it back.
Not liking my chances. Well, you push it back a week, then it impedes the other one. So we'll see. I got a 44K run through the Great Ocean Road Marathon, which I just want to get through. Like, I'm not too concerned about times, but I'd love to get like around 5:30 pace. But yeah, like I'm trying to find ways to make it more enjoyable. One of those is like running with someone. I had Hugh Knox on the Sunday Run podcast the other week, and I'm going for a run with him tomorrow doing 20Ks. It's like you do things together, then you can like find the enjoyment. We can make content together and stuff.
I want to give you a tip, but I don't have any. Sorry, mate.
No, that's right. No, absolutely.
Most I've run is 10K.
Yeah, well, I mean, like that's it. Like the thing is with the running is if you're training towards something, it gets so like monotonous. Like there's no other way to battle that. I can try and gloss it up as much as I possibly can on social media or, you know, on any platform or podcast. But at the end of the day, it gets pretty monotonous, and like you've just got to go out and do the hours. It's like hours on the bike. It's the same as hours out on the road. You just need to be doing more and more hours than anyone else.
I suppose it's difficult because something like maybe bodybuilding or powerlifting or like even a team sport, it's like a short and intense session, so there can be a lot more focus and intention behind it, whereas like cycling or long distance running, it's just hours upon hours and very monotonous. So I'd be interested if anyone is in like a semi-pro or professional or knows anyone who's professional, like what their mindset is behind coping with that sheer volume there.
Yeah, absolutely. No, it's a great point. Would love to hear it. Mate, we've got to keep a roof over our head.
Yeah, we do. And we did do that last week because we had a record day in terms of the merchandise. Like, absolutely incredible. We had 1,000 singlets sent down, and a bunch of them were sent down to like other influencers and what have you. And you guys just absolutely bought up. Like all the popular sizes and colours were going straight away. I think it was, as I like to call, a lot of constipated demand. We hadn't had these in stock for a while, but they just absolutely flew off the shelves, and massive credit to you guys. So if there is any on the website now, we are doing another shipment is come down quite recently. So that'll be like the most popular sizes and colours that are back in stock now. So if there are any back on the website, you can go pick them up. Also, shout out to everyone who left a review. That was pretty damn insane. Like everyone leaving photo reviews and whatnot. If you actually wear it and put a review on the website, you will get $20 to spend on the website. So go and do that. But I'm also really excited about our sponsors, MyProtein. And we don't have to mention this on the podcast. I'm just like very taken away by it. I think they're such a cool sponsor.
Yeah, mate, they've been so good to us. MyProtein, it's just been such a seamless process being with them, which we're always looking for in brands. Is just like that ease of, relationship. And I feel like they really look after us and want to like help us out.
Yeah, just I don't know if it's because we've got managers now that like represent us. I think it's a lot better now that like someone's actually representing us. I feel like we are less like stuffed around by brands and it's just more direct and we get more opportunities. So I think a massive credit to our managers, and also a massive credit to the brand. Like I don't think you know much about like combat sports in terms of athletes, but I had Izzy Adesanya, Stylebender at freaking the Expo last time, which he's like a worldwide icon.
How good's his podcast with Dario CEO?
Oh mate, have I listened to?
Have you not listened to it?
I think I've listened to a Joe Rogan one, or maybe. Anyway, but mate, how cool is that? He's like our sponsor literally sponsors him.
I wonder if we get to meet him.
Well, if we were at the Expo, we would have.
Yeah.
But apparently they're flying us up to the next one.
So but we have a bundle, don't we?
We do. And I don't know if we're even allowed to mention this, but we're literally on the MyProtein. We're going to mention it anyway.
Yeah.
Whatever.
We're
literally on the MyProtein website with the NTF bundle. You guys tell me what's in it, but I'm pretty sure it's like you get a protein, you get a pre-workout, you get some other stuff in there, and you get a shaker, and it's way cheaper than usual, and you help support us. And like our faces are literally on the website.
What do you reckon Louie and Gab would have said if they saw that 4 years ago?
I was with that old sponsor, remember that? Oh,
yeah.
Your grandmother passed away, bro. But you could have mentioned the amino acids here. And now we're literally for like one of the biggest brands like on their website.
It's pretty crazy, man. I can't believe it.
Apparently we're even been on like for Spotify, we're on a billboard this May.
You guys better see it.
If you're in Melbourne, it's in Burke Street on the 18th of May. Our mugs are going to be on a billboard.
Our ugly heads.
How cool is that?
Mate, it's unreal.
So to answer your question, I would have said, I believed in myself, but it feels like it's happening more now.
No, it's a great feeling, mate. We're climbing.
We are. What would you have said to you? Would you have believed it if you told yourself that?
I mean, no, you wouldn't. I mean, I suppose so. I was talking about this the other night, actually. It's like this real feeling of like, and we've spoken about this on the podcast so many times, but this real feeling of like imposter syndrome for me personally. Yeah. Like I pinch myself every day, but then there's also like this feeling of like I was like I vision this, like I feel like I should be here. I've worked for it.
Yeah, you have.
It's a funny one that's like I feel like I shouldn't be here, but I feel like I should be here.
Who else is going to take your place, mate?
Yeah, exactly. Unless you fall over.
You're the one who's done the most work and have got yourself in this position.
Yeah, I'm going to write something down on the run sheet so I can remember. Mm-hmm. Sorry.
No, you're right.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. I feel like it's so exciting. And if you are at school and you're listening, or you're out of school or whatever, and you're envisioning something, work for it. Like, because it can actually, like, crazy stuff happens, and it's like a drip feed of things that happen every time we get a call from our managers. It just progressively gets bigger. It's like a bigger deal. It's a bigger bit of news. It's a bigger opportunity.
Yeah, I think. Well, maybe you're actually quite different because, like, at the start of this year, you did skyrocket. But I think for me and for a lot of the things we've done, like, it's just been drip fed, slowly increment. Obviously, your Instagram is a completely different story.
Yeah, but even still, it's like there's 3 years of work behind that, of like being quieter.
And then it hits that.
Yeah.
That could actually be explained
finds
by that.
traction.
And I don't know, I feel like that's a good way to ensure longevity. A lot of people burst onto the scene and then they're out of the scene pretty quickly. But who knows?
Nightmare fuel doing that. Mate, now I don't want to turn this into a negative, but like this is it's not a point of contention because like we haven't spoken about it too much, but there's been things in the past. We get messages and then we like post it on our like platforms.
I love doing that.
I know, it's hilarious. So it's often like a hate message, but hang on, let me find it.
The general like notion of this topic is sending like aggressive or just like pessimistic, denigrating messages and not expecting ramifications from it. Like, we do see most of our messages and comments, and I don't feel like those things should get away with scot-free, particularly if they're like made with hurtful intentions. Like I remember Prime Train the other day after one of his games, some kid literally told him to kill himself. Prime posted it on his story. I put it on my Snapchat story. The wolf pack are there going, and then all of a sudden, like everyone's messaging this kid. Like I don't know what they're messaging him.
Yeah.
And he's like, "I'm so sorry, I made a mistake. I didn't mean to send that message, bro. You just didn't. You're just saying that because you're getting called out."
He won't do that again.
Yeah. So I'm all for this, to be honest, especially in the AFL now, when someone gets like just a disgusting slur, like them calling it out straight away. I'm all for it personally.
I love it. Yeah, exactly. No, it's a great point. Like it's so this idea that you can send a DM and then it's just like we haven't signed any confidentiality. Like I have full opportunity to screenshot this and put it on my story. So if you're ever going to send us a DM, unless you ask for it to be anonymous and it's like respectful and nice, you know, there is a chance it can get posted. So this one I got was from Andy.
Hey, Andy.
He goes, "Thanks for your run tips, pal. So good. And I got to my 5K under 20 minutes. But now you've turned into a bit of a flog with the celebrity status. So I'm out. Good luck with the new fat guts." Thanks, Andy.
It's like Shark Tank. For this reason, I'm out.
I'm out.
Thanks, Andy, with 174 followers. Didn't need your investment.
So Andy sent that to me on his public profile. It's not a private Instagram.
Silly.
He's got photos of himself at Uluru. He's got his wife and his kids. So I just merely screenshotted the message and I put it on our favourite platform, which is Snapchat.
Yep.
About 50 replies I got. Hey, that's my year 7 teacher. Hang on. Wait, that's my... one of them replied like, I'm seeing my year 7 teacher in a new light.
Oh,
Andy, you've had a fucking mare, mate. You've had an absolute nightmare.
At least got on an alt account or something.
Andy, strike up the alt account and anyway. But so I checked and he was still following me. So I was like, oh, maybe he's joking.
Maybe you had a few too many wines or something, big Andy.
Yeah. I wonder if one of the young ones actually said something to him. If anyone who's listening know Andy or whatever, we'll get him on the podcast and have a chat to him about it.
Yeah, send in a voice message, Andy. We want a voice message apology.
He's probably got a lot of free time because he's probably lost his job. But yeah, I find it so funny and so interesting.
Like, why send that message? It's just negative. Like,
I agree. It's so like, it's like, hey, thanks so much for the tips. You're a flog now, so I'm out.
Yeah, fuck. That's on that topic. Like, I've been getting like heaps of gear accusations lately. Don't know what that's about. Apparently, a man isn't allowed to run at 4:30 pace.
What gear would help with that though? That's what I'm.
Blood doping.
Yeah, it's like it's counterintuitive. Like you're just not gonna do it for.
I think it's because I look probably a little bit more muscular than your average runner, and they're like, anything is possible. I don't think anything I've done is like.
But it's like your heart rate would be through the roof if you're on tren.
Yeah.
Like you, I don't. Yeah. Anyway.
I think it is just people who either bad work ethic or just like don't know who I am that well.
Yeah, and I mean your like body has progressively gotten better, and you know, but it's not going through any huge like ups or downs.
I don't have traps up to here, and you know, it's not like insane. I think I do have like a good physique. Probably my body dysmorphia gets to me always thinking it's shit, but it's not like, if you know gear, it's not like a geared physique, I don't think.
Yeah, exactly. Imagine if you did gear though.
Yeah, I think I actually do wonder what I'd look like, but I don't want to. That's what Alex always says to me. I don't want to die at 45 though. I want to be able to see my kids graduate school or some shit.
And you look unreal. Like you just don't need gear. Hey,
I'd prefer the natural aesthetic.
Yeah.
And not having health complications too is always good.
Yeah, it's always nice. It's such a hard thing to get through as a young one, I think, is especially like 20 to 22, I reckon, is very like, oh, I could do gear, you know? And it's like, just don't do it. If it all comes down to how, this is what I reckon, how well your parents parented you and like how much confidence they instilled in you as a young one to knock back that, you know, temptation of doing gear. Yeah,
I could go on this topic forever. Maybe we should chat about it in more depth in the future. But I did get one of those messages with no ramifications. It is from Jacob Joseph, right? And so I just posted a story on my Instagram, you know, getting a few packages, because when you do what we do, managers working hard, getting your deals, you get a few boxes come down. It's like a warehouse. And so I posted a video of it. You know, obviously we have a fair amount of social capital, so brands want to capitalize on that, send us some stuff, sponsored products and whatnot. And Jacob sends, lol, you bitch about not giving discounts to fans and then get all this free merchandise sent to your Lemfeo. What it's really like being an influencer. So apparently,
you're not giving away enough. Mother Teresa over here.
Yeah, which, I didn't want to completely disregard that. Maybe I should do a little bit more. I've realized I've got way too many clothes. I've got way too many things. So I'm giving away a fair amount more. But I posted that on my Snapchat and all the response were just like, what the fuck's he on about?
The thing is, like, you're never going to please everyone. I think Jack Higgins spoke about it when we had him on the potty. It's like, if you're a billionaire and you give $1 million to charity, people are going to be, well, why didn't you give 10 mil?
Yeah.
And you know what? Maybe that's something we can work on, is actually doing more like charity work. But I've always been at the mindset of like, I've got to sort myself out before I can help others.
Yeah.
And, whilst we live a pretty comfortable life and things are good, if we can get to the next stage, then we can help a whole lot more people.
So true.
So it's hard for someone to think about, especially I'm sure he's like a young kid or whatever, and like still figuring everything out. So whatever, but like when you realize you get older, you got all these expenses and stuff. Giving shit away, especially like apparel as a company, it is just not viable. I agree with a number of points in there. Firstly, I don't say this to make myself look like a saint, but I feel like I did dedicate a fair amount of my social platforms to a men's mental health organisation for raising money for that and raising awareness. Number two, I feel like we do give away a fair amount of stuff along the way. Maybe we can do a fair amount more than that. This has actually sparked me to go through my entire wardrobe and literally strip probably 50% of it and say, I don't need this and I'm going to give it all away to the Salvos or Vinnies or whatever it is. Speaking of which, last time I did a giveaway, people were like, you gave it away to private school kids. Like, what are you doing? So this time, I'm going to give it away to like actual charity shops and whatnot. And there was another point in there that you said, but I can't remember. You can't please everyone.
Yeah.
There's no chance.
And that's the other thing I wanted to comment on was like getting ourselves to the next level, taking care of ourselves so we can become, wealthy, blah, 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 with good values and actually do a whole lot more for society.
Yeah, exactly. Like we can help so many more people if we can just get to like this point. And of course it always keeps climbing. Yeah. Like you always want to keep building. And that's never going to stop. It's unrealistic to think we would stop in that regard. But if we can get to this amount, then we can help that amount of people.
Definitely.
Which is always something to think about. Next topic, mate.
What is the next topic?
Girls.
Can't live with them.
Can't live without them.
Yep.
I tell you what, mate. I've been living without them for a while, to be honest. So.
Yeah, right, mate. Yeah, right. Cap.
What's going on with you, mate?
Just happily married couple.
You pretty much are.
Probably the hardest launches in Melbourne going around, but I don't care. It's my social media account.
You've hard launched.
Yeah.
Can we talk? What can we talk about? How can you give us how'd you meet? Oh, not quite.
Nah, I feel like I want to tell that story with her.
Okay.
But yeah, it was a good story how we met. It was good.
It was strong.
Yeah, it was solid.
Good.
And it's just been going well, I think. Her name is a car brand. You guys can use your imagination. I've got the Audi, it's another brand.
In that same kind of line.
Potentially, yes. And yeah, I think it's going well. We're doing some good dates and whatnot. Probably the most healthy communication I've had with a girl.
Any games?
No games, to be honest. And it's crazy because I'm a man of all sorts of games. You name a game and I've got it.
Loves a game.
I've got Sudoku, I've got chess, I've got snakes and ladders, I've got Connect 4, I've got Fortnite, I've got FIFA, whatever game you want, I've got it, mate. But for this situation, I haven't had to utilize any of those games.
Okay. So it's just been, this is who I am, this is what I want.
My entire life of dating tips and knowledge has been thrown out the window because it's worked just very simply.
I feel like that's such a nice way to start things off in terms of a relationship.
It's odd.
If it's heading that way.
Yeah, I think it is heading that way.
I think you'd be pretty safe to say that.
Quite serious. It's weird because as soon as other girls see you're in like a thing or you're posting another girl,
they start hitting you up.
Oh, mate, it's fucked. It's the requests, ex-girls, everything. There's just messages left, right and centre.
It's always the way, isn't it?
It is. I don't know. Is there like a name for that kind of situation? It's just like basic human psychology, but
I think you just got to put the blinkers on and knuckle down.
I literally look like I don't even know, like the weirdest unit right now, and I'm somehow getting messages from just like.
Do you find your happiness has gone up now that you're talking to a girl?
Yeah, definitely.
Does that concern you?
Well, I feel like that's how, like, the biology of humans is like, if we're alone, we're going to be pretty depressed. If we're not socializing, if we don't have a mate, then that is like your sole purpose as a human, to reproduce. So you're wired to do that. So if you're missing that, you're probably going to be like, you can't bypass a human, your biology, you know?
Yeah, that's a great response, mate. Because I feel like that can be like the toxic side of, you know, what we see on social media and stuff. It's like this grind culture. Like you don't put your happiness in anyone else, and then
you're being ancestrally inconsistent by doing that.
Yeah.
Like, you can't beat that. You're just going to become a loner and like depressed, and you can't beat it. So I don't think fight what's natural.
Yeah.
How have you been going in terms of?
Yeah, good. Oh, mate, I don't want to talk too much about it, like, personally. But yeah, I'm talking to someone, and it's at this point of the podcast is going fucking brilliantly.
Yeah.
But the point I wrote down before. Oh yeah, sorry, what were you gonna say?
No, nothing. You go.
The point I wrote down before was content, and I've noticed since I started talking to this girl, my content really taking like a hit.
Really?
Purely from the fact of like, I just don't want to be seen as like an influencer who's like, I know that's who I am, but like, I think I overthink things so much more now that I feel the need to impress someone, if that makes sense.
Interesting.
And I think that comes from a whole line of maybe insecurities or whatever, but and I don't feel like I necessarily just need to fully impress her the whole time, but it's definitely something I'm like, I could just like not make that bit of content, or maybe I'll just avoid doing that, or maybe I'll avoid posting that. Whereas when I was single, in fact I was called Cobwebs, I just like, I couldn't care less, you know, what anyone thought. But now it's like, I care.
So when you go to plan out a video, produce a video, are you thinking like this person is your sole audience almost, and it's like, will this video, what will they think of it? Is that what you're almost thinking? Yes
and no, I suppose so. I mean, I haven't really thought this out. So like, there's more to it than that. But I guess it's just like, it's just easy to post a photo and like avoid even looking at that side of it. Now, it hasn't, if you've seen my content, like, it hasn't really affected me that much. Like, I still make reels. They're just as cringe as before. And like, I'm not going to stop because of it. Yeah. But I guess there is more of a question mark above, like, oh, should I be posting this?
I don't think anyone thinks your videos are cringe. In fact, like, you're being tremendously beneficial to society, like very, very useful. And I think any girl with the right values would see that, like, you're actually being a helpful guy. So I don't know whether you're just getting in your head about it, but I don't think any of those doubts are justified. And I think you should go even harder on it and prove how useful you're going to be.
Double down, pedal to the metal.
That's the only way there's going to be longevity in there. If you're having to compromise your career and your passion and what you enjoy, then you'll both be living under a bridge. And whatever.
Here we are. Oh, shit. No, it's bang on. What about for you? Have you found anything like that at early days of when you were talking to?
Just like, if I do post something about dating or girls or creating content with another girl, which I've been fairly on top of, a few times I've made a few mistakes on it, is just being like upfront in the communication, like saying, hey, I'm filming with this girl, or hey, I'm posting a video on like a previous dating scenario or something, just so like they get a heads up. And I'm very much like I need you to understand, like, this has nothing to do with what we have. This is just the content that I make. Like, you know, I've had previous girlfriends and whatnot, previous situations. A lot of my content is there to help guys in those situations. So for the person I'm with, I need them to be understanding of that. And she understands that very well, but just like communicating. I think our communication has been so good, which is like a first for me.
So important if you can. And like, just on communication, you know what I've noticed in like, what's the difference between like a first date, which like goes well, versus like a third or fourth date, which goes really well, is like the topic of conversation, like the topics in the conversation. If you can start having that like high level conversations, it's like, that's when you really get to know someone, whether that's about humans, like, you know, just like social things and all of that. I'm sure you've had those conversations with your girl. It's like very kind of, you leave a date being like, that was actually like really refreshing. I come out of that date like feeling like I've
Because it's
learned
not
something.
just surface level.
Yeah, it's not just like what your favorite
Your
color
brain
is.
feels like it's had a massage after it.
Exactly. And I think that's what we got to keep looking for, mate.
Yeah, well, I'm sure there's a lot more we want to chat about, girls. But if there are any specific topics you guys are after, please DM us on Instagram, and we may chat about it in a future podcast.
Absolutely. Let's keep a roof over our head 2.0.
Cool. We have a few sponsors. We have Whoop. I just use the Whoop strength trainer for the gym, so that's good.
That's nice.
You guys, if you have a Whoop, you can input your workouts in there. It's extremely detailed. It's almost too detailed. What are you liking about Whoop at the moment?
Oh, just the whole thing. I went traveling
Yeah.
and was able to see like my sleep and how it was performing and the ramifications it was having. I'd choose to look at the Whoop app sometimes, and then other times, you know what, I don't need to know that today because I've got a lot to do. But I absolutely love it, and I can't see myself ever not wearing one.
I suppose I'm a slut for data. And that is what it gives you, an absolute glut of data.
You can get dated up to your eyeballs.
Everything. It gives you a monthly performance report. It is pretty damn incredible. When we're boxing, the Whoop shorts. When I'm running, I have the Whoop undies on. I love having the akimbo, watch here, Whoop there, bang. So if you do want to get a Whoop, it's a huge investment into yourself. What can they do, Lou?
Mate, they can go to either one of our bios, pick either one of us and use the link in our bio. They will get a month free subscription and I think a bit of a discount.
Yeah, that is
I'm
correct.
pretty sure. So
You'll support
either
your
gab
boys,
on my bio and
whoever you like more. Pressure's on, but so many of you have signed up.
Yeah, we really appreciate everyone who's signed up. Next up is Manscaped.
Yep.
That's just stuck around forever.
We love Manscaped. Mr. Consistent.
Mr. Consistent.
What have I used lately? The crop exfoliator.
Oh, I was just about to say that.
Really? What did you use it for, bro?
Nah, just keeping things into...
Yeah. No, it's weird because I never get pimples on my body, but I had one.
Oh,
and I think it may have been from like an ingrown hair or something. I know, a bit yucky. So I got the crop exfoliator, which is probably meant for your balls or whatever.
That's what I used it for, was my balls.
But I just freaking scrubbed it on the body.
Yeah, nice.
What did you use it for?
I used it for my nuts. So what I did is I put it into my hand, and then you want to cup your nuts and give it a good kind of...
I wonder what the science is behind that.
Wash it. And it just makes them really smooth.
Yeah.
Which is obviously to get rid of any dead skin and,
yeah,
make it
good. Everything from the Manscaped website is good. And if you use code NTF to pick up your stuff from there, you will get 20% off and free shipping.
And free shipping. How good are we for that, mate?
We are incredible, mate.
We've got a mailbag.
We do.
I'd like to say it's brimming, but it's not overly brimming. But stick around and listen. One here from James O'Sullivan. Do you ever get over being so fit?
From James O'Sullivan. Louie, do you ever get over being so fit?
I think he meant for both of us. And this could be interpreted in multiple different ways. Fit could be, do you ever get, like, it could be in jest and, like, do you ever get over being hot? All the time kind of thing.
It's a hard one.
I played footy with James, so I know he didn't mean it like that.
Yeah.
He meant, like, fitness-wise. Yeah. And bloody oath I do. I get sick of it. So I sometimes wish I could just, like, first and foremost, just sit on the couch, eat pizza and drink a beer. On religiously every Friday. Right now I can't do that. I don't think you can either.
No, you genuinely feel guilty, don't you? It's incredible.
I feel so bad the next day. It's not just a hangover. It's like I feel atrocious mentally.
Yeah, wow. It's a difficult one. And the thing is, when you do it, it's so easy to slip back into those patterns. It would be an easy, stress-free life, though, I think, wouldn't it?
It would be. So, like, to answer your question, yeah, I get sick. Do you get sick of it?
I wouldn't rather be weak and unfit.
Of course, yeah.
I'd rather this than the opposite.
It's true. You can't just give up. The other thing is, like, in terms of let's take pizza and beer out of it, well then, like, constantly working towards fitness goals, it's like you especially when it's your full-time job, you hit your goals pretty quickly. So it's like constantly just trying to level up. So sub 20-minute 5K now, it seems like nothing. Sub 40 10K, that's what I want next. Well then, let's say you hit that, or whatever lift it may be for you. Well then it's like you got to keep going. Then there's going to be a point where you get an injury, and then you reach the sub 40 10K, and it's like, well, that's nothing. You've already hit it. When in actual fact it is. So what I'm trying to say, sorry, it's a lot of gibberish, is you're constantly chasing a dragon. You're constantly chasing it. I always want a little bit more. I want to get a little bit fitter. I want to get a little bit more diced. I want to get a little bit bigger. And I find that does get annoying.
It's maybe where new challenges such as boxing might come in handy, you know?
Exactly. And that's like I think that's why I'm enjoying it so much. Same as like golf as well.
And then they can almost transfer over to your other domains and you can keep excelling in them. So to answer the question, I believe, yes, we get sick of it. For me personally, I wouldn't trade it for anything else. It has its downsides. Would you say you're around the same?
Yeah, I wouldn't trade it for anything else. Like, I mean, that's a given, I think. But anyway, so I don't know. It's interesting. It's not really anything to consider if you're trying to get into fitness because that shouldn't stop you from doing it.
Don't think so.
We've got another one here from Liam. Want to hear your thoughts on coming to Perth, bro? Was killer meeting you. Mate, loved it. Yeah. I think you and I, Gab, should do a trip to Perth. Next one, where did you, Gab, Prime meet each other? Love the content, bro. Thanks. That's from Bo. Obviously, you and I went to school together, Gab.
Yeah, we did. Grade 6, we met and we were decent friends. Then I went to a different school and then we reconnected after year 12, started training together and became best buds after that. If you guys want a full story on that, a lot of the earlier podcasts we chatted about that, probably episode 1 and 2, I think.
Yeah.
We've chatted a lot about that.
Yeah, we've done it in multiple podcasts. Met Prime just through social media stuff, really.
Yeah.
Next one, how would you suggest someone that is doing middle distance running to get more into running halves and full? That's from Taj Fox. It's a great question. The thing that will change the game for you is intensity and bringing down that heart rate.
Yeah, right.
And like trying to do more volume at a lower heart rate. It's really difficult to do. It is honestly probably the hardest thing any runner can accomplish. But once you get it, your middle distance will start to turn into half marathons and full marathons.
Wow.
And then are you playing footy this year, which is just like a relentless question I get probably 6 times a day. And the answer is maybe I might go back to footy, but I've got a bit to do before then.
There you go.
Mate, that's all I've got.
Ask some more questions for the next one, guys.
Yeah, we got to be more proactive and send them in.
And you guys need to be more proactive and ask us better questions.
Hit us with some good juicy ones. There's normally 1 or 2 in yours that are just like
I need to screenshot them and remember to put them on the podcast.
Okay. Well, thanks so much to everyone for listening to this episode. We'll be back next week with the podcast. Clockwork, baby.
Awesome. Thanks, guys, for listening.
See ya.
Bye.